Welcome to World News. Tonight, terror target. The president launches a missile strike on al-Qaeda militants to prevent an imminent attack. An ABC News exclusive. Uh-oh, snow. A massive storm threatens major headaches for millions just ahead of the holidays. Climate control. President Obama brokers an agreement on global warming. Critics say it falls short. And saying farewell to people and a career I have loved.
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. A luxury on the last night of this broadcast. 3 stories that could lead the program. In Copenhagen, President Obama intervened to get a last-minute agreement on global warming. There is a massive winter storm coming to the eastern U.S. But we begin with a U.S. missile strike ordered by the president, which killed dozens of al-Qaeda militants, an action which officials say was necessary to protect American interests. So our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, joins us now. Brian?
Charlie, White House officials tell ABC News the orders for U.S. military warplanes to attack suspected al-Qaeda sites in Yemen yesterday came directly from the Oval Office. The action represents a major escalation by President Obama in his efforts to go after the terror group in yet another country. The U.S. military used air-launched cruise missiles in the attacks on 2 separate locations in Yemen. Pictures broadcast tonight on Al Jazeera showed dozens of bodies covered by sheets. Officials said some 35 suspected al-Qaeda figures had been killed. Opposition groups said dozens of civilians were also killed. A second attack targeted a site where U.S. officials say an imminent attack against a U.S. asset was being planned. In his speech about a troop surge in Afghanistan 2 weeks ago, President Obama hinted that action against Yemen could come.
Where al-Qaeda and its allies attempt to establish a foothold, whether in Somalia or Yemen or elsewhere, they must be confronted by growing pressure and strong partnerships.
The al-Qaeda presence in Yemen has been steadily growing in the last 2 years. The U.S. Embassy was attacked by suspected al-Qaeda gunmen just last year. And the presumed military commander of al-Qaeda in Yemen, Qaim al-Raymi, has frequently appeared on internet videos, offering an alternative to the training camps in Pakistan and Afghanistan for new recruits.
Now, if they can go to Yemen just as easily or easier and get training there and then come out again, well, all your efforts in Waziristan are a bit of a waste of time.
Al-Raymi was considered a prime target of the attack Thursday, but officials say he apparently escaped alive. Yemen has publicly claimed the U.S. played no role in the attacks yesterday, but they were orchestrated directly from the White House, which now appears very much hands-on in the efforts to decimate al-Qaeda wherever it is found, Charlie.
All right, Brian Ross, our chief investigative correspondent. Thanks. Next, we're going to turn to the weather. Winter isn't waiting till Monday. What is being called the storm of the decade promises to disrupt holiday travel, holiday shopping, and holiday shipping, since millions of packages need to reach their destinations before Christmas. Some flights tomorrow have already been canceled. So ABC's news weather editor, Sam Champion, is joining us now. Sam?
Hey, Charlie, how are you? We've got a big storm in the making right now. Let me show you where it is. It's this area of low pressure that's down in the Gulf, and it really is making a big rain for Florida all the way through Georgia and the Carolinas. But it's when this storm system gets its act together and goes to the eastern seaboard for Saturday and Sunday that it becomes a real snow producer. This is all going to be all snow because the temperatures from Virginia all the way into northern New England are 10 to 15 degrees below normal. I'll show you how it started in Lynchburg, areas like Lynchburg, Virginia, the Appalachians, Asheville, North Carolina earlier today with what was a light snow, though Asheville came in with 7 inches, which is their record for the day. But remember, this storm is still off in the Gulf of Mexico, so we think it's going to get much, much worse. Campbell County, Tennessee tonight will show you idea of what we're looking at, a very heavy snow. This is going to have a big snow ratio of either 12 to 1 or 15 to 1, and let me tell you what we mean by that. A 15 to 1 snow ratio means that 1 inch of rain can deliver 15 inches of snow because this air is so cold and so dry that we think that's what's going to happen out of this. So here's who gets snow out of this storm if it verifies, and we think it will. From Asheville to Roanoke to Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia to New York to Boston, all snow. Now, D.C. is just a few hours from now it starts, and a possibility of 10 to 15 inches of snow there. Philadelphia probably starts around midnight, 9 to 12 inches of snow there. New York City around 10 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow morning around 6 to 10 inches of snow there. And there are blizzard warnings for Long Island, blizzard watches for the Cape. Charlie?
All right, thanks very much, Sam Champion. A very unusual heavy snowstorm coming before winter even begins. There was high drama in Copenhagen today, where at the 11th hour, an agreement on global warming was hammered out by President Obama and other world leaders. It calls for a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by all nations. Calls for a reduction, but doesn't require a reduction. Jim Sciutto joins us from Copenhagen.
Charlie, White House officials say that the key moment came when President Obama burst into a meeting of Chinese, Indian, and Brazilian leaders uninvited. He said he didn't want them negotiating in secret. Once inside, they say, through the sheer force of will, they were able to seal the deal. After a day of frantic shuttle diplomacy, President Obama announced an agreement he called historic.
Today we've made a meaningful and unprecedented breakthrough here in Copenhagen. For the first time in history, all major economies have come together to accept their responsibility to take action to confront the threat of climate change.
Under the deal, all countries will submit written targets for reducing their greenhouse emissions by early next year. Nations will then submit to international analysis to verify whether they meet those targets. Overall, they're agreeing to keep the temperature rise worldwide to no more than 2 degrees Celsius by 2050, which will mean some countries would have to cut emissions by as much as 50%. However, as President Obama emphasized, the agreement is not legally binding for the U.S. or any other nation.
We tried to be modest in what we thought we could accomplish. Whatever it is that we promise, we can actually deliver on.
The final agreement falls far below expectations of a wide-ranging deal with enforceable targets. In the end, countries will decide both how much they reduce emissions and how to reduce them. President Obama said he still hopes the agreement can be made legally binding, though he admitted it will be very hard. He said he preferred to take one step forward with an imperfect agreement, Charlie, than 2 steps back with no agreement at all.
But Jim, when you use phrases like not legally binding and no enforceable targets, you wonder if this really is worth the paper it's printed on.
Well, leaders here believe it is at least worth something. There are public commitments that can be verified. I think that it's best described as relief here. There were many moments today, Charlie, when many leaders felt there would be no agreement at all. So I think they're just happy to have at least some progress.
All right, Jim Sciutto in Copenhagen at the climate conference. Thanks to you. The Senate, meanwhile, has gone into overdrive in its effort to pass a health care reform bill by Christmas. Even though the details of the latest version of the bill haven't been made public, the schedule is calling for nonstop debate and votes around the clock throughout the weekend. Our chief medical editor, Dr. Tim Johnson, is joining us. And Tim, where this stands now, the question that I hear most often is this bill, without a public option, without an expansion of Medicare, is it better than nothing?
I would say absolutely, Charlie. We have to remember that doing nothing leaves us with the status quo, a non-system that is headed for financial and healthcare disaster. The bill addresses 2 important areas. One, insurance reforms. I'm told there are 400 pages in the bill that address insurance reforms, such as getting rid of pre-existing conditions, expanding to 30 million who are now not insured. It also addresses pilot projects for financial reform, such as how to shift from a fee-for-service system, which explodes costs, to an outcomes payment system. I would personally prefer to have public option and or Medicare expansion directly challenging private insurance. But what's left is not insignificant.
But you have said to me a number of times, even if this bill passes and people think the sort of healthcare world has changed elementally, that people actually won't notice much difference.
They won't notice much difference the next day. The major reforms are not scheduled, some of them until 2013 or 2014. I think there's going to be some backlash on that, but I also predict that there will be constant tinkering with whatever gets passed by every Congress coming up in the next few years.
And that's if, and it is still a big if.
It is an if.
A bill gets passed. All right, Dr. Tim Johnson, thanks very much. And still ahead on World News, new evidence that the number of children with autism is soaring as more places help them feel at home. The father fighting to get his son out of Brazil tells our reporter the situation is beyond cruel. And at the end of the broadcast, hitting the road.
Today, scrubologists reveal how the automatic shower cleaner really works. Scrubbing bubbles combined with the water left on your shower walls. Then they clean as they slide down. Removes mildew stains and soap scum. Cleans a dirty shower in days, then keeps it clean.
Nice job.
No biggie. Scrubbing Bubbles Automatic Shower Cleaner. We work hard so you don't have to. S.E. Johnson, a family company.
Campbell's Green Bean Casserole. Make some holiday magic.
How can you get back pain relief that lasts up to 16 hours? With Thermacare Heat Wraps. That's 8 hours while you wear it, plus an additional 8 hours of relief after you take it off. Thermacare delivers heat that penetrates deep, warming the muscle right where it hurts to relax, soothe, and unlock tight muscles for lasting pain relief.
Even after I took Thermacare off, my back stayed loose for the next day. It allows me to move side to side without pain.
My muscles feel like this, and then after the heat gets really deep, my muscles do feel loose.
Thermacare works differently. While some other pain relief patches and creams may feel warm, they're really not.
With this, I can feel the heat going deep, deep inside of the muscles.
The warmth is so deep, the relaxation so profound, took the pain away.
So if you've got pain, go to trythermacare.com for a $3 off coupon and start using Thermacare today. And get up to 16 hours of pain relief with Thermacare.
Nothing matches that dentist's level of clean, but you can take home that dentist smooth, clean feeling with Oral-B rechargeable brushes. Dentist-inspired cupping action sweeps away up to twice as much plaque as a regular manual brush. Oral-B rechargeable brushes, starting at $22.
Numbers out today confirm the rate of autism in this country is rising dramatically. The CDC says autism now affects about 1 out of every 110 children. That's up from 1 in 150. Health officials don't know how much is due to a true increase in cases and how much to better diagnosis. Whatever the reasons, more families are facing the challenges of having a child with the disorder. And as John Donvan reports, a growing number of businesses accommodate their needs.
It's just a haircut, but getting Mick Mund to come inside, that is a procedure. His dad talking him toward the door. Come on. Coaching sometimes 20 minutes as the world passes by.
Mick, come on.
The world that most of us inhabit with ease, being out in public, where this side of autism doesn't always fit in a restaurant, say, or a shoe store, or on an airplane. It is isolating when home becomes the size of your universe. And so it's like oxygen when someone finally makes room for autism.
All of God's saints.
Like this church in Bud Lake, New Jersey, the pastor who's created this special bi-monthly 30-minute service, himself the father of 2 kids with autism, or the Placentia Library in California.
But if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
It's for young kids with autism and their brothers and sisters because they also feel autism's impact. Or Genuso's in Baltimore, where Mick is finally sitting down and where Gary Oster, a barber for 47 years, figured out long ago Mick needs to get this finished fast.
You know, he moves, I move with him. I think key word is patience. Patience.
The point is that Gary bothered to adjust to autism. Mick's dad has so many stories of outings gone wrong, like the movie Ice Age, where a character died and Mick inappropriately started laughing.
We felt at that point that we couldn't stay any longer.
So you just took him out of the movie?
We just took him out immediately.
But now one theater chain, AMC, is reserving special screenings for kids with autism. This is in Kansas City, but it's 80 theaters nationwide. Kids can laugh when they want to, or not. And a meal afterwards? Well, if you live near the Main Street Tower restaurant in Bel Air, Maryland, and Mick does.
Hello. Thank you so much for doing this. Thanks
Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks for coming.
One night a month is Autism Night. Here, families know they are welcome and most behaviors are accepted. And if Mick, his meal finished, needs to make this sort of exit, well, it's just dinner out. And what a feeling that is. John Donvan, ABC News, Baltimore.
Pretty great to see. Coming up, an angry father tells us he'll keep fighting to bring his son home from Brazil.
You've wanted to quit smoking so many times, but those days came and went, and the cigarettes remained. But today's a new day, And a few simple steps can make a real difference in your next quit. Things like starting with a plan to quit smoking, getting support, and talking to your doctor about how prescription treatments can help you. Talk to your doctor about prescription treatment options and make this time your time.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. Here's a plan for America's broadband users to save $16 billion a year and $300 individually. Switch to Net Zero dial-up at $9.95 per month. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or go to netzero.com.
Transform drinks you want into cold medicine you need. Introducing Fast Crystal Packs, a new way from Alka-Seltzer Plus to get cold and flu relief in a taste-free, fizz-free powder. Alka-Seltzer Plus.
They're running the Men's Room Marathon.
With lots of guys going over and over.
And here's the dash to the men's room with lots of guys going urgently.
And then there's the night game.
Waking up to go.
These guys should be in a race to see their doctors.
Right. Those could be urinary symptoms due to BPH and enlarged prostate.
But for many guys, prescription Flomax reduces their urinary symptoms due to BPH in 1 week.
Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not a more serious condition like prostate cancer.
When taking Flomax, avoid driving or hazardous tasks until you know how Flomax will affect you, as a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting.
Tell your doctor about all medications you take. If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax.
Common side effects are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen.
Ask your doctor if Flomax is right for you.
Call 877-4FLOMAX to see if you qualify for up to $40 off new or refill prescriptions.
For many men, Flomax can make a difference in 1 week.
World News with Charles Gibson and On the Money. Sponsored by Prescription Flomax.
On the Money tonight, it looks like the end of the road for Saab. General Motors plans to shut down the brand after talks to sell Saab to a Dutch automaker fell through. Also on the Money, the Swiss watchmaker Tag Heuer is dropping its U.S. ads featuring Tiger Woods, saying, "We recognize Tiger Woods as a great sportsman, but we have to take account of the sensitivity of some consumers in relation to recent events." And a growing number of households are having their utilities shut off for non-payment. 4.3 million customers were disconnected this year despite more federal emergency aid. Thieves in Poland have stolen one of the most famous symbols of World War II. It is the famous sign declaring Arbeit macht frei, meaning work sets you free, from the entrance to the Auschwitz concentration camp. Jewish groups called the theft an attack on the memory of the Holocaust. The New Jersey father locked in an international custody fight is taking new steps to get his son back. A day after Brazil's Supreme Court delayed a reunion with his 9-year-old son, Sean, David Goldman remains in Rio de Janeiro. He's asking Brazil's Attorney General to intervene and return Sean, whose mother has died and who lives with his stepfather. Today, Goldman talked with us in Rio.
I'm just a dad. He's my son, my only child. We were best buddies. We'd play in the pool. I'd take him to school. I'd read him books. It's beyond cruel.
And you can see more of the interview with David Goldman tonight on Nightline. And when we come back, I'll have a chance to say goodbye.
It was May 1st. That's when I'd had it with heartburn. It was supposed to be the night I would hook Mr. Right. I mean, look at him. He is really bringing it. And look at me. I'm blank. I got nothing. That's when I'd had it with frequent heartburn. That's when I got Prevacid 24-hour. And husband number 2.
The #1 prescribed acid reducer brand over the last decade is now over the counter to treat frequent heartburn a full 24 hours. Prevacid 24-hour. When you've had it with heartburn.
Can the calcium supplement that keeps your bones strong also help your heart? Only if it's new Citracal Plus Heart Health. Calcium and vitamin D plus phytosterols, a natural plant ingredient which may reduce the risk of heart disease by lowering cholesterol. Now you know. Citracal.
If you think all batteries are the same, consider this. These Duracell batteries were given to the Mattel Children's Hospital, UCLA, because when it comes to kids and healing, you're not just powering a toy, you're powering a smile. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
Now, anytime,
anywhere that cough and cold strikes. Ready, set, Robitussin to go. Introducing new Robitussin to go. The medicine is already dissolved, ready for your body to take in. Robitussin Relief. In a new, neat little single-dose spoon you can take anywhere. Now feel that Robitussin sensation. Anytime, anywhere. New Robitussin to go. It's pure Robitussin Relief to go.
Let's see if I can tell you something about osteoporosis you don't already know. It runs in families. My mother has it, and now I have it. So even though I tried to keep my bones strong, it wasn't enough. Now, once monthly Boniva is helping me do more. It didn't just stop my bone loss. Boniva worked with my body to stop and reverse my bone loss. And studies show after 1 year on Boniva, 9 out of 10 women stopped and reversed theirs too.
Don't take Boniva if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or can't sit or stand for at least 1 hour. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Boniva and tell your doctor if you have difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems. If jaw problems or severe bone, joint, and or muscle pain develop, tell your doctor.
You've got one body and one life, so don't wait. Ask your doctor if Boniva can help you stop losing and start reversing.
For a free trial offer, call 1-800-4-BONIVA or visit boniva.com.
Tonight, beautiful young girls tricked out of their innocence. They thought this designer with celebrity clients would make them top models. So what happened when the cameras started rolling?
It's disgusting.
Tonight, 2 dramatic hours of ABC's 2020 start at 9.
Healthcare reform is down to the wire, and Sunday, the president's top advisor and 2 key senators face George about the battle for votes, plus healthcare, climate, and the president's sagging poll numbers.
Boy, that's going to get the roundtable fired up.
Sunday on This Week with George on ABC.
As has been mentioned a time or 6 over the past week, this is my last broadcast in this chair. And it's hard to walk away from what I honestly think is the best job in the world. But my parents taught me you should understay, not overstay, your welcome. And there is so much to do. In the years I have left, I don't want to miss any of it. It has been a privilege and an honor to be here working with reporters, producers, and staff for whom I have unbounded respect. This is for them, as it has been for me, as it was for Frank Reynolds, as it was for Peter Jennings, a labor of love. I thank you for investing trust in us each evening, trust that we will give you as objective and honest a look at the day's news as we possibly can. Objectivity is not universally in favor in our business these days, but it is critically important. It is what we strive for each night. It is my hope that is what you have looked for, and that is what you have found when you come to ABC's World News. You'll find it with my pal Diane Sawyer, who assumes this chair on Monday. I leave with great gratitude for you who watch us each evening, and for ABC News, which has been such a wonderful place to work for the past third of a century. I think we have something the producers have put together coming up, but before that, I would simply say, that is World News for this Friday. I'm Charlie Gibson, and I hope you've had a good day. I've had so many good days here. For all of us at ABC News, have a great weekend and a joyous holiday season.
Laura and I wish you and Arlene all the very best as you head into retirement. I think you'll find it's not all that bad.
You always told the story just as you saw it. So thank you for all you've given to us, for your dedication to your profession, and for shooting straight with the American people.
Thanks, I think, for asking the tough questions and telling us what we needed to know day in and day out.
Charlie, it will not be the same for the Bushes, having you in our living room, bedroom, wherever all the time. You deserve the very best because you are the very best.
All those who know you well say that the Charlie Gibson you see on camera is the same person off camera. That's quite a tribute.
Charlie, I've never known whether you are Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or Vegetarian. And frankly, I'm going to miss you.
And Charlie Gibson, happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.
And cut. Charles is a man who every night delivers news of even the most tragic events in a way that makes me feel secure. And Charlie wears a beer helmet.
Fantastic, wonderful career, great achievements. All the best for the future.
I expect to see a lot more of you in the club. We're going to be down there swinging, as always.
News anchors and those who make a difference in our lives never retire. They just take a long commercial break.
I will probably never dance with anyone as smoothly or as lightly or as happily as I did when I danced with you.
Charlie, thank you for taking on the morning so wonderfully way back when.
Charlie Gibson joins us to continue our daily adventure.
His dad came to watch that first show, and I asked him what Charlie was like as a child. He said Charlie was always fascinated with our government, even reading the congressional record at 9 years old.
Charlie, I don't know how to say farewell to you, so I won't. I simply wish you much joy, much happiness, and I send you my love.
You know, if you get a little bored, just give me a call. Maybe you want a couple of cooking lessons.
We love you, Charlie. Cheers.
We both got to this town in 1974. I retired a lot before you did, but I want to tell you something. I've enjoyed everything that you've done. It's been great knowing you.
Charlie Gibson is retiring. Why can't I retire?
Thank you for being such a huge fan of my teammates and myself.
Charlie, this is Jeff Williams, commander of the International Space Station, flying 220 miles overhead. I understand you're looking for work these days. We could use a good plumber up here if you're interested. The hours aren't bad and the view is pretty good as well.
And I want to congratulate you on 20 years with Good Morning America, ABC News, and everything you've done, not just for the people world, but for the animal world.
Believe me, Charlie, there are not many newsmen, not to mention television journalists, who read novels. You are going to be missed.
Hi, Charlie. 3.5 years ago, you interviewed me for 3.5 minutes, and it changed everything for me.
Now I got to figure out what to do when nighttime rolls around and you aren't there.
After over 40 years in television, your absence will leave a gaping hole in our business.
You really have been a great guy and a great competitor night after night.
Charlie Gibson, he's going to retire.
No! No, he is not.
Say it ain't so, Charlie. Say it ain't so. Charlie, this place will fall apart without you.
But you know what?
This is crazy talk.
So long and good luck, Charlie. See y'all real soon.
I know you'll have a great time hanging around the swamp with me and all the other news frogs. And I'll tell you, World News Tonight won't be the same without you, pal. Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie, for decades you've been a consummate journalist and a reassuring presence for millions across America. In a world where news is often grim, we had a lot of good days, and you helped make them a little bit better. So thank you, Charlie, and best of luck.
No hype.
Do you still expect to get health care by the end of the year?
No fear.
Are you sending Iranian weapons to kill Americans?
Saying that lady asking so much tough question.
No compromise. No.
Right straight ahead of you right now is a camera.
Know why it matters to you.
And I just want you to be able to talk to everybody back home.
ABC World News with Diane Sawyer. Starting this Monday on ABC.